Today we're coming in with an industry insider interview. We have Brandon Lee, owner and operator of Vigilant MMA. This weekend down in Tampa, Florida, he'll be putting on a double feature show, Combat Quest 10 Bloodsport. So Brandon, thanks for joining us today. Excited to have you here. So tell us, what can fans expect this weekend at Combat Quest 10 Bloodsport?
All right. Well, this weekend, man, we have an incredible show, something like we've never done before. From 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock is going to be the matinee show. $20 general admission, 400 general admission seats in there, and then we have a few assigned seats and some tables for our sponsors and a couple others. But 12 to 4 o'clock is going to be all the amateur, all the prelim guys with making their debut, 1 or 2 fights under their belt. Now, the main event prelims is actually a title eliminator. We've got a guy who used to be our 135 champion, Jake Spray, out of Highlander MMA. He is 5-4, and he's going to be fighting a guy that's 3-3 out of the training lab in out in Los Angeles, California. He's flying all the way out here from LA, and they're fighting for a title shot on the next show. And that'll close out that show at 4. We'll clear everybody out, and then at 5 o'clock, we'll open the doors again for the main card. And on the main card from 6 to 10, we have 8 title fights and 3 title eliminators. Every single fight has title implications.
And with this show, right, this double feature show, why'd you decide to do a double feature on one day? I know a lot of shows are doing like back-to-back cards. And then can people also get a ticket for both shows, or is it only for one and then the other?
So great question, man. It's 2 separate shows altogether. However, anybody that comes to the first show can get $10 off the second show. And conversely, anybody that's already bought a ticket to the second show, if they end up wanting to come to the early show, they'll get $10 off. So they could even get in for $10 to see the show if they decide, hey, you know what, we're going to go check out the guys that coming in early in the day. It's only $10 to come in. And that early show will be streamed through our website, vigilantmma.com for $9.99, $10, and we got 10 good fights lined up, really good fights. Some youth Sanshao kickboxing, and 2 of those, and 8 MMA fights. Then on the main card from 6 to 10, that's going to be on Fight TV, FITE.tv. And that one's $19.99. But like I said, we have 8 title fights and 3 title eliminators, and every single fight from top to bottom is an absolute banger. I'm dying for this weekend to come up just so I can enjoy the show.
Yeah, and I was looking at some of the fights beforehand, and you got people flying in, like you said, from California. I know Tyler's coming down from Chicago. There's people coming from all over the country to fight on your show. What do you think the draw and the allure is to those fighters who probably have shows that are, closer to home, but they're coming all the way across the country to work with you?
Because we look out for the fighter. That's why. That's the difference between us and everybody else. When fighters come in with us, they know that they've got a good hotel that they're going to be staying at. All right. They know that when they come to the weigh-ins, it's going to be a show. It's going to be an extravaganza. I improve every time. This show right here, the weigh-ins are going to be at the Godfrey Hotel, on the water at the pool, and these guys are going to be overlooking Tampa Bay while they're weighing in. It's freaking just, spectacular, scene for them for the weigh-ins. We make sure that every fighter has their spit bucket, and in that spit bucket is their tape, their gauze, their water bottle, their spit bottle, their towel, the gloves for the cornermen. So when they get here, the only thing they got to worry about is getting in that cage and handling business. Because as a fighter, I know what it's like to have to run out and go get gauze. Oh shit, we don't have cornerman's gloves. What are we gonna do? So I know that stress. So I alleviate all the guys, the locals and the out-of-towners. They don't ever have to worry about that. You come and fight for Vigilant, all you got to do is show up, make weight, and show out. We got everything else under control.
And, that is, something being in backstage for fights all the time. There's, guys asking, hey, can you lend me some tape? I need to wrap my hands, or I forgot gauze, or, I forgot this, I forgot that. And then there's also times where, people just, may not have a corner. They may not have this, they may not have that. So are you also talking to the fighters of like, how many coaches are you bringing? What are you bringing down? Like, you're very personable with each person that you're bringing in.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I get to know them. Every single fighter that if we're investing money and we're bringing you in, or we're putting money into hotels and all that, bringing you, I'm going to get to know who it is that I'm working with, and we make sure that we got good, solid kids. Gerald Spawn is going to be fighting in the main event out of Strong Style MMA up in Cleveland, Ohio. That's where Steve Miocic
Mhm.
trained. That's where they got like 7 UFC fighters there. I got on the main card, the very first fight. I'm worried that someone might die in that one. That's Markavian Williams out of North Carolina and a kid named Tavari Grubbs out of Genesis MMA in Texas. Now, Genesis MMA in Texas, that's owned and operated by Mark De La Rosa, who is in the UFC, and his wife. Gosh, he's gonna be so mad I didn't remember her name. His wife, she's also in the UFC. They're the first ever tandem, husband and wife, both currently in the UFC. They're bringing us 3 guys in. So we've reached out to every area to look for top tier guys. And that's something else that separates us. All right. We make sure that when we get a champion, we test them every time. There's no freebies. There's no easy. When you get a champion, you're a champion with us, you don't get to choose your opponent. We provide you the opponent, and that's who you fight, or you relinquish the belt. Because I want to take amateurs and turn them into solid pros. I'm not just trying to give somebody 6 easy fights. They turn pro at 6-0, and then they get their ass whooped. They're 0-2, and their career's over. That's doing a disservice to these kids, and that happens a lot around here. So I make sure that after the second, the third fight, they start getting tested. So, and some coaches don't like that. There are some coaches around here that they hate my guts. They talk so much trash about me, bro, and they make up lies and spread lies about my promotion, but I just keep it moving in the right direction. I make sure that we're getting better every show. I make sure that we're doing better things every show. We don't repeat mistakes, and just key in on those things, and that's whatever.
And you hit on something there about your champions. You have champions not only in MMA but in multiple verticals of combat sports, combat jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You were saying you're looking into Muay Thai and all of these different martial arts. Most promoters they focus on one thing. It's kickboxing, it's jiu-jitsu tournaments, or MMA things along those lines. Why did you decide to bring everyone in house for one show that they can fight on multiple things in front of people the same night?
So a couple of years ago, when we first started this company, I actually was a matchmaker slash co-promoter for a Midwest company for one show. I saw how they operated. They actually did me a disservice and took off out of town and left me with a mess, but I don't even want to go into that. But I got all that squared away, and then I decided, you know what? I think I can do this on my own. I think I don't need all these other people. And me, my stepdad, who's a lawyer, we teamed up with some locals here that had done boxing promoting in the past. We expressed our interest in doing MMA promoting, and we said, you know what? Let's create a hybrid fan. Okay. Let's create a fan, because you have your traditionalist boxing fans, you have your kickboxing fans, you have your MMA fans, you have your BJJ fanatics, but there's not really a place that you can get all these people together. And that's why we decided to try to create a hybrid fan that was a fan of combat sports, not just a fan of MMA, not just a fan of BJJ, not just a fan of boxing. I want somebody that wants to come and see the different arts and the different styles. And then more importantly, honestly, for me, I'm a San Shao kickboxer. That's what I was, national champion. A lot of people don't know San Shao is Chinese kickboxing, same thing as Sambo, Russian version of it. So I really want to spread the knowledge about San Shao. And so we make sure every show we have a couple of San Shao kickboxing matches, because it's as close as you can get to MMA without any ground involved. There's no ground fighting. There's no BJJ, no ground and pound. So it's all the striking elements, the judo, the Greco-Roman wrestling upper body. It's basically all the standing elements combined. So I want to use this platform to accentuate that, because I think that can help fighters grow and expand their repertoire of weapons on the amateur level by experiencing a San Shao kickboxing match or two. Then they can implement better striking in their MMA and in their careers. That's my goal with it.
Sure. And it also sounds like you're not just creating a hybrid fan in the sense that a fan is going to see maybe one discipline and then they see something else, but you are also creating fans of your brand, where you're selling Vigilant MMA tees, you are promoting the streams online, yeah, you have your face masks, all those different things, because most of the time when people go to an MMA show, a kickboxing show, they might go to see one person, or they might go to see, they're from the gym, so they just go to see the people that are from their gym. But the way that you're kind of setting things up, people don't just get to see one person in one sport that they get to go watch, but they get to see, all of these different people in these different sports. So they may become also fans of so-and-so in kickboxing where they went to see MMA, or they just may become then a fan of Vigilant MMA. They start buying your streams.
Correct. And that's what that's the ultimate goal, is to create vigilant MMA fans. And that's why every show we don't have any easy fights. You'll have to go back to Combat Quest 1 to find the easy fight, which was Asim Zaidi and Jake Williard. And I'm still embarrassed that I did that to poor Jake, but hey, he volunteered. It wasn't like I didn't do nothing. He wanted, So, but anyways, you have to go back to Combat Quest 1 to find an easy fight. After that, I don't do easy fights. Nobody fights easy on my card. I make every fight competitive. Every fight, is something that people, when they come in, they don't leave upset. I was told by the promoter, you can always tell about the success of your show by the way people leave. Go outside 10 minutes before the show ends and just sit out there and listen as people are leaving. If people are leaving happy and talking about, man, did you see that knockout? Or, oh, I can't wait for the next one, then you know you've done your job. But if they're leaving and they're like, man, fuck this place, or God, that was a bunch of setups, well, then you know that you didn't do your job. And so we make sure that we give these guys their all the bang for the buck they can handle. That's for sure.
And, speaking of fighters, right, there's some fighters, like you said, who kind of just want to get those easy fights, pad their record. And then you have other people who may be interested in coming down and challenging your champion. Do you typically go seek out fighters, or is there a way that they can contact you and say, hey, I'm a 5-1 amateur. I fight 145. I want to challenge your featherweight to their championship fight?
So it's a bit of both. I'm constantly doing, I'm constantly myself, just because I'm always out. I'm always looking, because I run this show, and then I'm also the matchmaker for Global Legion FC, which is basically our parent company. We recently decided to join forces. Now Vigilant is basically the minor league system for Global Legion. So guys that earn a championship with us automatically get a debut with Global, and then depending on the outcome of that debut, they get a multi-fight contract. Obviously, they lose, no multi-fight contract. If they win, they're going to get about a 3-fight deal. If they get a vicious knockout or submission, they might get a 4 or 5-fight deal.
Got you.
But
Okay.
this way, it incentivizes quality fighters to come and fight for us, because if you can earn a championship, then you're guaranteed a pro debut with a major promotion.
Absolutely. And that's, anybody who has the dreams of getting to, that top tier level, they know that you have to take tough fights at some point. Right. So, taking the tough fights is, something that everybody's going to have to do. Nobody can really walk through, their amateur and pro career without being tested at least a little bit. So you're going to provide that with that ability to fight those tough people. And then also with the parent company, they're able to kind of not have an in, but essentially have an in if they are successful with you.
So no, it definitely gives them an in, man.
Yeah.
And the way, and I mean, I don't want to speak too much on it because we don't have everything completely ironed out, but it's going to be very incentivized and incentive laden. So like for every title defense, that'll probably net you another guaranteed fight as a pro. So if you come on and you defend your belt 3 times, well, you know that you've got 4 fights with us, even if you go 0-4, but you know that you've got your first 4 fights with us. So that incentivizes any quality fighter to want to not only come and compete, but come compete, win a championship, and even defend it.
Absolutely. All right. Just got one more question before we go. I know you got action-packed fights. You said it's, great fights from bottom to top, but people who are, on the fence maybe about buying your stream for this weekend or whatever that may be, what is the number one fight that they should tune in for that is going to make them a Vigilant MMA fan?
I mean, honestly, man, I swear on my daughter's life, bro. Fight number 1, Tabari Groves, Markavian Williams. Someone might die. Fight number 2, I got somebody stepping in named Devin Tuck on short notice against Ricardo Rodriguez. CJJ, 190 pounds, purple belts. Those guys are going to slap the ever-living crap out of each other. Fight number 3 is Olu Brinson, a local, against Marcellus Wallace, son of Crafton Wallace, former UFC fighter. Those 2 guys are going to be an epic battle at 155, and the winner is going to get a title shot in each of those fights I just named. Then on the title fight card, bro, the 185 title, the 150 catchweight title, the 170 title, the They're all going. I mean, every single fight on that main card is worth the $20. Seriously.
Awesome. And that's going to be, like you said, streamed on your website, and that's vigilantmma.com.
For the, for the early show, the matinee part, which is the debuts and the younger guys, the debuts are going to be on vigilantmma.com. The main card with the 8 title fights and the 3 title eliminators, that's on fight.tv.
Okay, got it. So they can go to fight.tv to see that card with pretty much everyone as title contention, like you said.